Vineyard. I don't know if these next two gentlemen are prepared to hug it out. There certainly will discuss the topic. Joining us now, Republican strategist Ford O'Connell and Josh Orton, a senior advisor at Progressives United. So we have the viewpoint of both the right and the left. First, to this interesting criticism from Hillary Clinton, Ford, hugging it out. Is Mrs. Clinton trying to get in position now for the 2016 election?
Make no mistake about it, Hillary Clinton is a political Darwinist. There's no taking responsibility in her DNA. Her whole statements were designed basically to position herself for 2016. She sees that President Obama's approval rating is in the toilet, and essentially outside the progressive base of the Democratic Party, his foreign policy is seen as ineffective and weak. She is basically tipping us off to the fact that she's taking a general election position on foreign policy precisely because she thinks she's going to go unchallenged in the primary, JD.
Well, there's going to be that primary or that fundraiser tonight, Josh, there on Martha's Vineyard. And does money trump all? Will both the former Secretary of State and the President be on their best behavior and just raise the money in peaceful fashion tonight?
Yeah, my guess is that everyone will enjoy a shrimp cocktail together. But look, I take Ford's point that that Hillary Clinton is looking forward to 2016. I don't take it as such the upheaval that I've seen covered across the press. There's a lot of margin for people to find divisions between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. So I understand that Hillary Clinton was trying to make a point here, but I think the larger question is what are we going to do here in Iraq? And you know, I think it's fun to find these divisions, but Hillary Clinton isn't currently Secretary of State, and Hillary Clinton currently isn't the President of the United States. So, you know, her opinion is interesting towards 2016, and frankly, I think that she's going to have to demonstrate to her progressive and her Democratic supporters, or her potential supporters, that she's not going to return to the era of the neocon Bush administration, where we initiate dumb wars in countries that pose no threat to the United States. I think that's really the larger question.
So Ford, he said, go ahead. Go ahead, Ford.
Josh, brush over your question about Martha's Vineyard, okay? And frankly, given the size of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama's egos, I'm surprised the island of Martha's Vineyard doesn't sink in the ocean. That said, I am a Republican and hence not the party of science, so I don't know much about these things. Every political strategist worth their weight in, you know, basically knows that Martha's Vineyard is the limousine liberal ATM machine. So Hillary Clinton wants to be president in 2016. Barack Obama wants to hold the Senate in 2014. They're going to be nefariously cordial to one another because they have to. Period. The end.
Well, they are going to be cordial, but there is a dynamic set up politically, Josh, and we appreciated your effort to cast a critical light at what may have transpired under Republican commanders-in-chief. But to the here and now and looking ahead to 2016, you run Progressives United. There's no secret that the base of the Democratic Party and the committed folks tend to be decidedly to the left. Hillary caught some grief from progressives. She seems to have a very different take on foreign policy, and if you judge a previous President Clinton, I think that past performance may be indicative of what could transpire in yet another Clinton presidency. What does Hillary have to do to mollify, engage, and inspire the progressive community?
Well, I think the primary thing is that she has to demonstrate that she's not going to adapt a foreign policy that will repeat the drastic, horrible mistakes of the Bush administration and engage us in more decades-long wars that really cost us nothing but thousands of lives and trillions of dollars. You know, I think that Secretary Clinton faces that question on two fronts, both on the front of international policy when it comes to Israel, when it comes to Syria, when it comes to Iraq, whether or not she's going to repeat the same mistakes of the Bush administration. And frankly, I think it also remains to be seen on domestic policy, on whether she's going to take a strike at income inequality the way that the Democrats and progressives are going to be looking for her to do. So yes, I think that it begins to be interesting as the beginning of the 2016 cycle starts to look at how Secretary Clinton is going to position herself if she decides to run, and it seems somewhat clear that she's going to. But you know,
let me just translate what Josh just said. We just gave Hillary.
Let's one at a time. Let's let Ford get in here, Josh, for just a second.
She's just saying progressives just gave Hillary Clinton a mulligan. She better not stray too far off the progressive reservation, or we're going to challenge her in the primary. And what I hate to tell a lot of What I hate to tell a lot of Republicans is that progressives make the Tea Partiers look like amateurs. So Hillary Clinton's been put on warning, and she better fall back in line. That's the bottom line.
I think that's sort of interesting, considering the fringe of the Republican Party, the Tea Party, this corporate-funded fringe, has actually taken over the reins of Congress and has basically steered it into a ditch. You guys can't agree on an immigration policy because of the Tea Party. So if you're going to say that
we don't need to agree on an immigration policy, we need to want to
Party
secure the border.
Is somehow more powerful than the Tea Party, I would actually question. I would look to the results of the Boehner Congress.
Well, I realize we have been casting our view ahead to 2016, but back to the here and now, at least in terms of the stewardship of this current president. Josh Ford has spent a good bit of time castigating President Bush. We heard in that final audio clip from President Obama as he was a bit, I think, frustrated heading out to Marine One to go on vacation. Hey, you guys are acting like, I think the paraphrase, like it's my fault. When does President Obama move from observer-in-chief to commander-in-chief?
Never, JD. This is page 1 of the Obama scandal manual. Deflect blame, never take responsibility, and where possible, always blame it on Bush. Why? Because progressives see George W. Bush as the devil. And if you can't blame it on Bush, blame it on the Congress. And when that doesn't work, then you blame it on the intelligence.
Well, we don't see Bush as the devil. We see Bush as a horrible president. You know, he left this country in a tremendous mess, both economically and foreign policy-wise. And if you think that the decisions during the 8 years of the Bush administration won't have reverberations for at least the 8 years following it, you're just not a student of history.
And what you were missing is that Obama did such a poor job that Hillary Clinton is cutting and running where possible, because she knows that a third term of this presidency, she can't run on him. She has to run on her own vision going forward, because you guys have ruined the country. George Bush might have made some errors, but you guys made the situation a heck of a lot worse on the foreign policy front.
A horrible president. I wouldn't accuse you guys of ruining the country. That's ridiculous.
Well, if not ruining the country, we certainly are in a severe economic ditch. We have the onslaught of illegals. We have uncertainty in foreign policy. Josh, make the case why Barack Obama is doing, if not a great job, at least a presidential job. Got a minute, a little over a minute left.
Sure, yeah, and I think what we've seen with Iraq is that there are no good solutions, and I think it comes down to what President Obama has said time and time again. When it comes to democracy in Iraq, we can do everything we can, but in the end, we can't do it for the Iraqis.
Josh,
we saw that
this is not about
Maliki was
Iraq.
incapable. I'm sorry, let me finish, please. Maliki was incapable of bringing together a coalitional government, and President Obama is trying to stop a humanitarian crisis, and I admire.
All right, fine. Now, Ford, last word to you. You got 15 seconds. Go.
The U.S. is going to need a foreign policy going forward that deals with terrorism. This is not going to be a one-stop thing in Iraq, and hopefully the next president, regardless of party, will take this very seriously and be honest with the American people.
Fair enough. A freewheeling, passionate discussion. We tried to keep it civil. I may have to get my gavel out and be a little more formal in terms of presiding. Yeah, hug it out. That's an interesting thought. We'll see about that. In the meantime, gentlemen, we'll have you back real soon, and we thank you for your perspective. So you want to hug it out, slug it out? Why don't you send us your comments, tweet them to me at NewsmaxTV, #America's Forum.